Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming here to our first Residence Council meeting of 2025, and I want you all to notice that already I made a mistake. There's the wrong date, and I was sure I put the right date on the PowerPoint. Thank you, I'm forgiven. If that's the worst mistake I ever make, it'll be very good. This next agenda item, well, no, this is the agenda. So you can see we have a lot of speakers, a lot to talk about today. And I am first. The first thing I want to say is definitely not a mistake. I want to acknowledge the members of the Residence Council who went off the council this year, but they served for 3 years, and I want to make sure everybody knows who they were and thank them for all of their work. Sally Wren was the resource person for games. Nancy Olson, the resource person for the assisted living. Kerry Krensky, as you all know, he's already moved to Hawaii, but he was resource person for entertainment. And Deanna Nelson, of course, was our president. So I think we should applaud them. I don't know if they're all here. They all worked hard and did a good job. So I think you noticed that we've already made a few changes for 2025. And some of these changes are the result of the conversations that you all took time to have with me. Many of you met with me. A lot of past presidents, of course, all the members of the council, outgoing and incoming, and others of you who just, wanted to share your opinions about things, and I appreciated them all. And one of the suggestions we got was to have the Residence Council members sitting facing all of you so you would know who we are. And I'm told that that's the way it used to be, but not since I've been here, so we're, going back to the way some things were as we move forward. We also have new name tags that say Residence Council underneath our names. So you can notice, and if you want to talk about something as we're going through the hallway, I'm not sure I can speak for every one of the members, but you can try and grab us and have that conversation, or if we're having a cup of coffee or, an email or a phone call will get our attention, and we'll do our best to answer questions or take your suggestions and consider them. At the planning meeting that we had about a week ago, I asked all of the members of the Residence Council to say a little bit about their backgrounds and the skills that they bring to the Residence Council and the work that we do. And I think everybody was so impressed with the diversity and range of experience that our council members have. And let me just share some of that with you. We have 2 lawyers, one of whom worked in banking and the other one in family law. We have a tax accountant who also was a volunteer mediator. We have a retired minister. We have not 1, but 2 pediatricians. Only 2. I think we have a lot of other doctors in the house. We have 2 nurses, one of whom primarily gave direct service to patients, and the other who was an educator and educated a lot of other nurses. We have 1 person who knows absolutely everything about the city of Seattle and state government as well. We have a couple of social workers, both of whom were also educators. We have 2 project managers, one who worked with the IRS and one who worked with a private company. We have a civic activist, and we have 1 retired library director. Now, the thing I really noticed as I looked through what they had done was that everybody had worked in one way or another with groups of people. And they met the challenges of that. And believe me, because I've done a lot of it, it is a challenge. Many worked with groups of volunteers, or they were volunteers themselves in their positions. But it is always hard to work with a group because you know there are differences of opinions, and that creates a challenge. And then you're dealing with, I won't say we have a bureaucracy here, but we have administrators to work with. We have a board of trustees to work with. And, you know, there are complex organizations. And as far as I could tell from the stories that everybody shared, they met those challenges very, very well. So I think they are extremely well qualified to serve you in the coming year. If you want to know where to find a list of all of the Residence Council members and the committees that they work with, there are several places to find it. It's on HH Connect. If you go to the Residence Council, you will find the listing for all of us, with some of our pictures in addition. If you go to the bulletin board just to the left when you enter the mail room, that's the Residence Council bulletin board, and you'll see the list there on paper. You can even make a photocopy of it if you want. And if you go all the way to the back of our library and all the way to the right corner are all the records for the Residence Council, including the list of the members of the council and the committees that they work with. And by the way, and I know Ned will mention this when he gets up here to talk because he is the vice president for programs. If you have interests that are not being met by the programs that we currently have, why not start a new committee? Somebody said that she was interested in bird watching, and we don't have a bird watching committee, but there might be others who would like to get together and do some bird watching. We already have a new committee, and I just got word yesterday that they were successful in working with the Seattle Chamber Music Society to bring us those chamber music concerts that are going to be happening later this month and in February. And they will be shown here in Anderson Hall. And that committee started with a GEM grant, and then they proceeded to request a budget just for the committee so that they could provide that for us. So be thinking about that. I also want to mention that one of the ways that we want you to get to know us and us to get to know you is that Residence Council members are going to invite our new residents, anyone who moved here in April or more recently, to have lunch or dinner with us and ask questions about the council and what it is we do, and tell us about what you're interested in doing, and maybe we can kind of, you know, help match you up with something that you would really enjoy. I have been personally having a lot of meetings. I've been meeting with members of the Residence Council. I don't mean the Residence Council, I mean the Board of Trustees. And I've also been meeting with Love and Company, which is helping us with the marketing for the new tower. And I have been very, very impressed with the work that they are doing. And I'll tell you a little story that was shared with me when I was meeting with the Finance Committee, which is a committee of the Residence Council. And he said that he was new to the Residence Council. He wanted to know more about Horizon House, not the Residence Council, the Board of Trustees. He was new to the Board of Trustees. See, I'm making mistakes. He was new to the Board of Trustees, and he was going to be on the Finance Committee, and he wanted to learn more about Horizon House. So we had a meeting here, and he came with his wife, and his wife sat down in a public area to read a book while she waited him to get through. And within a few minutes, one of our residents said, "I haven't seen you before. Are you new to Horizon House?" and sat down and started talking with her. And by the time he got out of the meeting, she had a whole circle of residents talking with her. And I said, "I am not at all surprised by your story. That is just the way Horizon House is." Now, I want to tell you about something else we want to do this year. I know we all have concerns about what's going to happen once construction starts on the West Tower. We're all worried about losing the things we have come to enjoy. The patios, being able to take a long walk from the North Tower all the way to the end of the West Wing and back again. All the meetings that we have, the meditation room. There are a lot of concerns that people have. Where are they're going to be parking, and the Monday market, and on and on and on. So I met with Erica very briefly, and she agreed that we need to find a process to involve our residents in finding ways to solve these problems or find at least some kind of interim solution, something to fill in until we get our wonderful spaces and even better spaces back again. So I'm going to be following up with Lori, who is all in favor of that. We thought that we would start with a little ad hoc committee of residence council members and administration members, not to find the solutions, but to talk about the process by which we find the solutions. And we already have an example of that with the gardening committee. The gardening committee has met with Brian Holtz to ask, what are we going to do about the plants that we're going to lose in the patios? If we want to keep some beloved plant, where can we keep that until we have the patios back again? Is there a place where we can continue gardening close to Horizon House or on the Horizon House property? And they're working through those issues and finding solutions to them already. So I'd like to use that as a model for how we proceed working in conjunction with administration. So we'll share more about that as we move along. And I think that's all the remarks that I have right now, but of course we'll have time for questions, I hope, at the end. So let us move along to Sam Sperry to talk about the Employee Gift Fund.
Thank you, Ronnie. I have a couple of very short notes here that were written, thank you notes to you. And we decided it would be a good idea for you to hear them. This one begins, "Dear wonderful, caring, and incredibly generous residents of the one and only Horizon House community. Many, many thanks for the absolutely wonderful, festive, fun, and delightful holiday party on Sunday. all of the care, love, and attention to detail and detail made it extra special. My eyes aren't the best, nor is the writing good on this. The delicious baked goods, the yummy drinks, and the Santa picture were wonderful and more. Thank you so very much. Finally, there are no words that can adequately express my gratitude for the generous check that you gave. Thank you so much. Yours, with joy and gratitude, Per Solheim. And the second one is, thank you so much for the generous employee gift fund Christmas check. This time of year, it has its own stresses as well as joys, and your kind gift has helped enormously in the joy of our department. With appreciation, Aquadonna. And now, Ned Lang, it's your turn.
Thank you, Sam. Good afternoon. Programs and activities, starting a new year, active, continuing their wonderful work from last year. It's not like you start all over. We just keep on going, and we keep on going hard and well. I can report that the HH Connect listing of the communities and activities is now up to date insofar as groupings, names, and addresses, and so forth. It is the best source of information about the community activities and programs. So I urge you to use it if at all possible. If there is a new group that wants to form, please see me or any resident council member, and we will help you. And it's not a difficult process at all. It takes just some interested people volunteering and wanting to make the project happen. All of our activities can always use more people and new faces. I was reminded of the University of Washington study of programs here at Horizon House. It's in the library if you want to read the whole thing, but one of the most significant points was the fact that Horizon House people live longer when they participate. It extends your life. And even more importantly, it makes the existing life, whether extended or not, better because you are involved and you're working with people. And all of the research certainly displays that. The other item I want to report on is the fact that the new program book is now published in its limited edition. I want to make a special thank you to Danny Carr and Patty Waite, who did the artwork and the cover and also did a wonderful introduction and solicitation on the inside cover. They helped immeasurably. This is available if you must have one. There are a few extra copies in the library. Don't take the last one. Call me and I will replenish them. It's going to be primarily for new residents. It's going to be a part of their new resident packet, and then resident councils members are going to be meeting with new residents to make sure they have it and that they have any questions or what can they do to participate. I think those are the key elements that I wanted to emphasize today. I will now turn it over to Doris Ray for a spotlight on the dining services. There you go.
Thank you. Yes. I just pushed that one. Okay, very good. Hello, good afternoon. I am the chair of the Dining Services Committee, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about how we operate, what we do. The Dining Services Committee, which used to be called a liaison committee, serves in an advisory capacity to the Horizon House administration and the dining services staff. It also facilitates two-way communication between Horizon House residents and the dining services management concerning all aspects of the dining experience. The Dining Services Committee meets monthly, except for July, monthly with the Director of Dining Services, Jeff Townley, the Executive Chef, Steve Carlson, and the Chief Operating Officer, Lori Warfield Larson. Meetings are held in the dining room at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month, the day after the Residents' Council meeting. Our next meeting is tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Well, we're not ready for the, two. Thank you. The committee receives information and provides input about upcoming menu changes, special dining events, changes in dining services, and other issues involving dining activities. It reviews and evaluates new products and services such as menus, reservations, etc. It discusses, evaluates, and makes recommendations concerning questions, comments, and suggestions from residents. Committee members are responsible for keeping up to date on information about dining services in order to share the information as they talk with their friends, neighbors, and residents. The committee provides a systematic method of communication with individual residents through informal meetings before the monthly Residents' Council meeting. On the Monday before the council meeting, from 4:30 to 5, individual residents can meet in the fireside lounge with a committee member to bring their questions or comments about dining services to the committee's attention. A similar meeting for individual residents is held on Tuesday at 3:30, or at least right after the Residents' Council meeting. Specific resident meeting information is also included in the alert. The monthly meeting, yeah, you got the agenda on there, good. The monthly committee meeting begins with introductory announcements from the chair. Then the staff reports on upcoming events, dining services changes, staff changes, etc. And following those reports, the staff responds to the list of questions and comments that have been posed by residents. The meeting is then opened to questions and responses from committee members, and informal but often lively discussions ensue. From January through November of 2024, 176 questions or comments from residents and committee members were considered by the council, or by the committee. The staff is open to and welcomes suggestions from the residents and, of course, from the committee. Staff members, though, may also explain in detail why some suggestions are just not feasible, or possibly that they can be implemented but later. Following the monthly meeting, then, email or written responses to their questions and comments are sent back to the individual residents who have met and talked with committee members. So there is we get the information, but we also send back the information that has resulted from our discussion. The approach taken to provide informal back and forth between the committee and the staff has been received positively and has also resulted in increased communication with residents. The Dining Services Committee welcomes new members, and I hope to see some of you sign up and join us at the meetings. We appreciate the opportunity to provide you with information about the committee's activities and services to our community. And if you have questions or comments, or you would like to join the committee, I will be at a table in the Fireside Lounge, as usual, after this meeting closes. Thank you. And thanks to the good use. Yes, there's one more slide there. Thank you. And thanks to Bob Cram, a former Horizon House resident and friend, who left us a library full of Horizon House illustrations. Some of these are, I'm sure, familiar to you. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Zoa Shumway.
Bill Anderson sitting at the back, you may want to leave. Whoops, too late. Close to 8 years ago, Bill Anderson posted a notice in the mail room inviting residents on the ride of a lifetime. He would begin teaching ukulele lessons 10 o'clock every Wednesday morning in the Myrtle Edwards room. The first designated Wednesday, 7 of us appeared, and after he had shown us how to hold a ukulele, we were off and running. Under Bill's tutelage, we played for Horizon House productions and programs, birthday parties, and many private happenings up in the Sky Lounge. And 5 years later, Danny and Jack Carr moved in, and our cup was filling to the overflow, as we now had 2 instructors and others becoming interested in joining our ranks. As we increased in numbers and skills, we began to feel the magic that accompanies playing and singing music with your friends. And thanks to Karen Lane, we have a yearly meeting with the Seattle Girls School, 5th graders. They're all playing the ukulele. And we also were recently up at Skyline, Skyline, the retirement community, where we supplied enough ukulele envy that they now have a formidable group up and playing, and they're planning a return visit down here with us. So more and more new uke players are discovering the wonder of barely being able to crawl out of bed in the morning, But after 10 or 15 minutes with your ukulele band, you're happy and on top of the world. And it took just a little reading and research to uncover hundreds of reasons everyone should be involved with an instrument playing music while singing with friends and significant others. Reasons and rewards we know include increased self-esteem, enlarged feelings of community and inclusion, particularly for new members of our organization, tempering strength, improved memory, weight loss, enlarging your social circle, love life, and brain size. If any of these positives have been on your New Year's resolution list, you need to know the drill. You simply contact any member of the String Along organization. They will take you under a wing or put you in touch with someone who will immediately get you started on your journey. And as we speak, there are 2 brand new players working with experienced people, and they will soon be joining our String Along family. And here, oh, tears come. And the String Along group is indeed a family. We support one another in times of need, and we help distribute the load with love and kindness. And the main difference between the String Along family and many of the blood families we know about is the fact that the String Along family is way nicer. Thank you today for your love and kindness, and let's get out there and make music. Thank you. And thank you. Ms. Hoover, would you join us at the podium, please?
Jennifer here, she asked me to be her spokesperson today because she has laryngitis. So I'm going to try to read this for the most part. December was a unique month at the market because many people bought our holiday items while others donated their old ones. And once the seasonal cheer faded, so did the crowds at the market. Regardless, we did very fine over the month of December with 5 weeks with a total deposit of $9,494.13. It was clear that the staff enjoyed the holiday shopping, spending over $800 on December the 2nd alone. As the Treasurer's financial report shows, the market performed well over the entire 2024, ending with $10,000 over the projection for the year. Jennifer and I hosted a volunteer orientation and recruitment gathering on a Saturday, and by all accounts, it was successful. Oliver provided delicious spread of goodies for the group, and people learned details about the market operations, but some even volunteered to be involved on the spot. And the training process is continuing as new volunteers are integrated into the process and working on various teams. However, as of yesterday, when the market was open, we realized that we still need 2 people in sales on Mondays to be regulars or substitutes. Now, please consider volunteering to serve a 2-hour stint on Mondays and see me following this meeting if you're the least bit inclined. Given the number of deaths and moves to assisted living lately, Jennifer and I have been really busy assisting family members with the clearing out of their apartments. And some new furniture and garments are forthcoming to the market, and as a result of that heavy visit to apartments, maybe 5 in 1 week, your donations are what keeps the market alive and vital. And we thank you, but we need to mention a couple of donation reminders. Now, this is serious. The Monday market does not take books, as donations always go to the library, and they're to be placed in their donation drawer. The library staff then arranges a selection of wonderful books in the market on the second Monday of the month. The librarians have decided, though, to close what we call the book nook. That's that little room outside in the garage where there have been an accumulation of other books that you might like to choose from. And instead, they're going to continue the carts that have been found out in the lobby of the market on Mondays every single week, okay? They have good selections there at good prices. Okay, another reminder. If an item is too large to fit into one of the donation bins on the main floor, please do not leave it there. Call one of us and we will arrange to meet you with your donation at the market. We'll open the door for you. Our names and phone numbers are on the inside cover of the directory, easy to find. There has been left and is currently remaining in the garage near the Monday Market Annex, if you know where that is, some garden furniture. We don't know anything about it, where it came from, who it's meant for. Was it donated to the market? We don't dare touch it unless we know. So if you know anything about it, please call me. Okay, we appreciate your support. We really do. We count on it. But do contact us if you have any large items that don't fit in the little donation bins. And I want to thank you for what you do for the market, because we count on all of you. And that's it for today. So next to speak to us is Karen Smith for the Treasurer's Report. Okay.
Okay, I love to hear her good news. That makes my heart beat faster to hear how well it's going. Anyway, these are our sort of a summary of this year's situation. And the wonderful news is that we actually ended up the year with a very slight surplus when we had budgeted a deficit of 31,000. Instead, we had a 1,700 surplus. And so I tried to look at seeing why did that happen. My number I came up is you did $11,000 more than we budgeted for you in the Monday market. Then the committees spent $15,000 less than they were budgeted. Now, does that say 15,000? Did that get changed? Okay, good. And then then we have an area of administration and contingency, and that 9,000 was spent less than what we budgeted. Now, we did give a gift of $2,000 to Partners in Caring, which wasn't in our original budget, but it did come up at a residence council meeting, and it was approved. So those added together created this slight surplus when we had budgeted deficit. So we go into the new year with a budgeted deficit again, and we will see how it goes. We do have a surplus that's been built up that we will draw on if we don't make it. But, you know, we're in this dilemma. I think there is a level of angst about the huge new project and how the Monday market's going to transition during this process. And this isn't the time to tell our committees, I'm sorry, you got to cut your budget in half. That is not what we want to do. So we try and walk that being responsible, good stewards of what we have, but keeping you all happy and excited about our programming. So that is kind of our mission on the Residence Council. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will call on somebody. Is it Erica? Erica, you're up next. Here you go.
Thank you, Karen. Good afternoon to everyone. It's exciting to address our Residence Council with new leadership and a fresh start for 2025. But I do want to start this meeting off with just saying what a great holiday season we had, and thank you to all the residents who not only put on a fantastic party and were so generous to our team members, but really made the season bright through the musical performances and all of the decor we had around here. So it's hard to believe that it's over, but it was really, really wonderful. So I have a couple of bright spots. We had our all-staff meeting quarterly where we introduced Ronnie. It was really, Ronnie said to me, we were in our meeting, and she said, how do our employees know who the new resident council president is? And I thought, I don't know. That had not happened since I've been here. But I said, well, why don't you come and introduce yourself? And it was really wonderful because, again, that's part of what makes us unique is our special relationship with residents and staff. And so it makes sense that our team members know who she is. I want to give you an update as we've promised. Every time we address you, we're going to update you on the West Tower, whether or not we have a lot to share or not. As of today, we have 72 reservation deposits with about 7 units that are on hold. And on hold means that these prospective residents are undergoing a financial screen to see if they qualify for the unit that they are interested in. We are continuing to have multiple West Tower events per month. We have most of them here. In the month of March, we will have a couple off-site. We have one on Bainbridge Island as well as one in Bellevue. You know, again, just really making sure that we're hosting things here, but that we're going to communities who may not know about us. As Ronnie mentioned, we did launch with our new sales and marketing firm, Love & Company. Thank you to all the residents and resident committees who talked with them and shared with them. I will tell you, you did a fantastic job. On their last day here, they showed us their brand platform. And that brand platform is how their creative team is going to begin to tell our story. And I would say they got it right with a little help. Wouldn't you, Ronnie? So it was, you know, just music to our ears that they understood us, they understood who we are, and they listened to even the feedback on, you know, the things that they shared with us. But I think that you will be pleased with what you see in the market, but I really owe it all to you for really making sure that you shared it. And what they said that was really heartwarming to me was the level of consistency that between the residents, the staff members, people who are on our prospective wait list, as well as West Tower depositors, all said the same things about why Horizon House was great. They said, you're making our job easy. Oftentimes they go to communities and they hear a lot of, you know, differing information depending on who they're talking to, but that was not what they experienced. And their time with us, it was really well spent. We had them not only meet with a variety of groups on 2 different occasions, we had them walk the neighborhood. We really wanted to give them a feel for who we are. And one of the things that they did that I thought was really unique is that they already can differentiate us between our competitors right here on First Hill. So I'm looking forward to that. The next steps with them is they're going to start to create a strategy, and we'll start to see what their branding looks like. And that'll happen in March. They'll have kind of a full launch in March. They're doing work for us now, of course, to keep us going, but you know, the real new stuff will come out in March. So stay tuned for that. I wanted to also let you know we have 4 new Finance Committee members that are joining us, and this group of folks are just extraordinary. They're very well skilled with backgrounds in auditing, construction, you know, quite a few CFOs. So I just wanted to share with you, when we bring new people on, especially people who are going to be providing the checks and balances to our finances, they are well qualified, and that's really important to us. And we wanted to make sure that they were oriented because they've got some big decisions and big recommendations to meet this year. So we had a great orientation for them. We had Sawgrass, and I want to talk a little about that. We had one webinar with Sawgrass, who is our development advisor. If many of you had a chance last March to see that presentation, we do have it recorded. We can always share that with you. They are our development advisor, and what that means is they make sure that no matter what we do in terms of our design work, our building work, bringing on consultants, that none of that changes the financial model, that financial model that really helps bolster Horizon House well into the future. Before we do anything, before we spend money, we have to run it through that financial model to make sure that things are exactly the way we want them to be. We did not do this project to displace residents. We did not do this project because, you know, we wanted to just see how big an organization we could build. We did it for the sustainability of Horizon House, and that means having strong finances. And so that's what Sawgrass does. We come back all the time with things we would love to do, and they will say that will tip the model, and that won't give you that strength, that economic strength that you promised to your residents in order to keep Horizon House strong for many years to come. So that's who Sawgrass is. We also had a webinar with Ziegler. Ziegler is our investment bankers. They're a huge investment bankers for senior living, but they also do healthcare and higher education, but they are bankers, they're investment bankers. They are the group that helps us be able to obtain that bond financing that we need to pay for the West Tower. We have a great relationship with our team. I'll be honest with you, they have the West Coast on lockdown. There are other bankers, but because they are so good and they really are partners to us, they have the bulk of the business on the West Coast. And so we asked them to help make sure that our new Finance Committee members, our new board member, as well as our leadership team really understood what we were embarking upon. We want to make sure that we are all in this eyes wide open. And so we have those recordings. You know, again, if people are interested, we are transparent. We are more than happy to share those with you. I'm excited to also announce yesterday, our leadership team took an entire day. I don't think we've ever spent that much time together. We took a full 8 hours for a leadership retreat. And this is based on looking at our culture, looking at our goals for 2025 and planning. It was a really fruitful day. We were facilitated by an organization called Drive, and they helped us look at our current values and define them, really define them so that we have a shared understanding and utilizing our values to help drive our behaviors as leaders, as well as our behaviors as people who serve you and are employed with Horizon House. And so I'm excited about the work that we launched. We will continue. They'll be continuing to work with our team members all across the organization at every level to create these culture committees, because again, the activities and things that we do to support it, it should be at every level of the organization so that we are all lock in step with the way that we operate within Horizon House. And so I'm excited about that. That gives us a real jump start on our 2025 goals. We have planned together, so I will be sharing those at the fireside chat, but we are marching together. When I got to Horizon House, again, we're post-COVID, so there was a lot going on, and I've heard over and over again from our team members, you know, it feels like we operate in silos. So I've been working very hard to really tear down those silos, and one of those ways in which we can do that is working on shared organizational goals that really give the organization the kind of boost that it needs for the future. And so that is the work that we are doing together, and we did launch that yesterday, the planning. Wanted to talk to you about the assisted living remodel, which has taken quite some time. Many of you know we are still waiting for that to be released from the fire department. We still have to get an inspection, but we believe that it will be open in March. So quite some time. Our assisted living staff, they have been, you know, really carrying the brunt of this, and our residents up in assisted living not being able to eat in a beautiful space they see, but they have, you know, really, you know, done this with a lot of grace, and so we're excited and anxious to get that dining room open. We were also asked to report on the access control. As you know, many of us are still carrying 2 cards. Some of the doors have our old key card, and then the other ones have the orange card that we can tap. So the update to this is there are 16 doors that still need to be switched over. All but 6 will be completed soon. We're just waiting on the hardware from the vendor, and that's why we're saying soon. I'm going to talk about vendors in a moment. The rest of the doors are egress pathways and are delayed. They're on a delayed release and must be connected to the fire panel, which we are replacing. So some of those doors, 10 of them, there'll be some time. Once we get that fire panel replaced, then we'll be able to do the last 10. And so we're waiting on updated drawings along with a couple of other items before they can be replaced. Many of you have been very patient this year with issues we've had with vendors, like the elevators and different things. So one of the things we recognize is, what is that saying? The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So we are looking at areas that really need some dogged persistence, so we can call and bug them on a daily basis if needed. The elevators are one. Mark Munden is, you know, he is our go-to elevator person. You know, many of you know we were without one button for I don't know how long. We've got our button now because we've got Mark on the job, and he will bug Otis every day if he needs to. And same thing with the fire panel. John Roberts is working on that to make sure that, you know, Siemens is working with us in a fast fashion and we're getting everything we need. So we just understand now when we do projects or we have difficult vendors, we have to get a one-point person that is hyper-focused on it so that we can get things done, so that you don't have to have things out of order or not working properly for long periods of time. All right, that is all I have. We have our next fireside chat on January 31st. And we are working on Comcast as well. Brian Holtz will be doing an update on Comcast at the fireside chat. We're still working with them, doing some replacement. You would think with all the streaming that Comcast would be on their best behavior these days, but yes. Yes, they are all connected. And we will address that. We're going to get all the details we need to be able to let residents know a timeline. And we also will have a timeline. Now, we're not going to have it at this particular fireside chat. We're going to have a separate meeting in March where we go over the timeline for all of the master planning, especially talking about those areas and when the disruption to different areas of the building will happen. So that'll be a standalone meeting in March. Of course, it will be advertised in the alerts so that you can attend. No. I'm talking about it. We're having a meeting to talk about master planning and disruption to spaces in March. Yes. It's a major issue. I am aware of it. I know it's disruptive to movies and things like that. So we are working with Comcast to get the boxes replaced and all of those things. But we do want to be able to give you good deadlines and timelines around when that's going to be fixed. Right. When we're presenting here, you cannot see. Yeah. She needs to, she's coming with a mic.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'm most interested in elevators. So what do? We go to Mark if the elevators aren't working? And why couldn't you just buy new ones?
Well, I wish that were so, but we are going to ensure that things are addressed much sooner. Go ahead, Kate. About you know what? We can have we can have an offline conversation. It's a long kind of story about why we can't. We do have a plan to upgrade elevators. It takes a long time to replace elevators, months and months and months, and so we do have a plan where we are updating the elevators. But that still, in the meantime, we have to make sure that all of them work well. I understand. I do.
I was wondering if the Ziegler Bank that you're using and the bonds, if those are public bonds. I'm interested in buying some bonds, so I'm just wondering if those are public issue.
You know, and I don't know. I will have to find that out for you, Kate. I am not positive.
Okay.
We do have kind of groups who are selling them, but I'll find out if they are public bonds.
And what interest rate?
Right. Well, listen, don't we all want to know that? Oh, I'm going to make a note, though. I will get back with you around, are there any public bonds involved? Thank you.
This is really short. On December 17th, we had the last regular meeting of the Residents' Council. The minutes have been circulated and corrected. If there are any further corrections? No? Then they shall stand approved as corrected. Thank you. Who is it? Ann Kelly.
It's time to answer your burning question for January. What do you do if the battery fails on the lock and you are locked in the laundry or service room? So there are 3 responses. First, you can call the front desk on your cell phone. You can press your personal safety alarm. Or 3, you can simply wait until someone hears you call for help.
I told Anne and the Residents' Council that we had to continue the burning questions because they are always so fun and great way to end. But do you have other questions?
I am, I'm sorry.
Ask with the mic.
I don't know who decided that all of us without Comcast had to go to that room in the West Wing because it has terrible acoustics and you can't really understand anything that's broadcast there.
Okay, and Risa, you were right there to hear that, I guess.
Unfortunately, the B1 TV room is not available at all times. So I tried to find a place that I could just dedicate that there would be a TV and chairs. Anybody could go in there and watch. But you can still go to the B1 TV room if there's not a meeting. Just check with reception first.
Okay, thank you, Risa. Are there other questions? right there.
My question is, are we going to have the large containers that we stuff all the things we want shredded into? We usually have half a dozen of those big tubs,
Yeah.
big bins. Are we going to have those again?
Lisa, do you know the answer?
I will check with the county, but I assume that we will have that service come May or June.
We usually have it right after tax season, don't we? So we can shred all of our tax documents that we no longer need.
Yes.
And Sherry has a question.
I'm going to go back to the 370 issue, since I live in the East Wing, and there's about 4 of us right here that do. 2 questions. One, is Horizon House still paying Comcast for the things that we are not receiving? Because if so, somebody's getting gypped, and it's us. And the other is have they thought about what kind of a credit those of us in the East Wing can get, since we have not had 370 since November? And it's not pleasant not having it. And yes, we know there are places you can go, but one of the reasons we use 370 is because we're trying to do something else in our apartment at the same time, or we aren't dressed when the program happens to come on, or we don't want to be dressed when the program comes on. So there's a lot of reasons that this was our service that we believed we had at all times. And I think Comcast should be stepped on, pushed a lot, because they'll not do it unless you push them.
Hey, Sherry, I'm right behind you. So, we understand your guys' frustration with this. We're trying to do everything we can. We've been trying to get a hold of Comcast, and they've been very unresponsive and very not in a timely manner of how we want to get responses. So we've been catching up with them every few days to at least try to at least figure out, hey, where is this part at that we're looking for? Because that's the biggest thing that we've heard is we're still waiting on one part to fix this. So they haven't given us an updated timeline on that, unfortunately, but we're... Oh, and yes, and Brian Holtz will also be making an update still at the fireside chat at the end of this month. So we can also discuss any of those as well. So
You think we need to go down and pick it? Is it just East Tower, or are those of you in Central Tower also having problems? And West Wing also now. It's spreading like a virus.
The thing that is so annoying with the 370 thing is it's always advertised. Anytime it's written down, it says you
And
can get it. You can get it
370.
on. That's like adding insult to injury, because you clearly can't get it
Except for
except for the one room where you have
North
to be
Tower.
dressed.
North Tower can still get it, so I think the message is useful for them.
We all need to go sit in.
Yeah,
North Tower
find a
apartments.
friend who lives in the North Tower.
No, come on. That's,
I'm sorry? Withheld payment. We'll explore all of that with administration. Are there any other questions other than HHTV? If not, I want to remind you that all of these people will be in the Fireside Lounge after the meeting. Anne will take your burning questions. Bill Coriston is there for the Communications Committee. Doris Ray, as she said earlier, will confer with you about dining services. Bill Roach is here to hear your comments and talk about environment. Mike Gould is here to talk about or be available to you regarding resident safety, and I will be out there if you want to talk about the Residents' Council and what we should be doing. Thank you all.